Welcome to Almost Functional Gaming. We aim to help all followers of Russ and the Allfather to improve on the tabletop. List building, tournament recaps, unit reviews, weekly council of the Fang, and other tips to help us all go from almost functional to fully functional. Please like, share, and subscribe. Also, check out our merch store and Almost Functional score tracker on Amazon.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to Almost Functional 40K, here for the weekly Council of the Fang. Going to be running solo again tonight. So we can get into anything you guys want to, but there's a few things I want to get into. One, I'm going to go over the teams list I took last weekend, thoughts on it, and how I'm changing it. I do have some leaks that I believe are fairly reliable about the Dataslate that could be dropping as early as tomorrow. So I'll go over some of that, what I think is coming. Other than that, just any thoughts about what's up, Plasma Minis? We're coming down toward the end of 11th edition, so we can talk about any of that if people want to. Just stuff like that. But I guess one of the first things I want to get into is we were at a team event this weekend, and one of our players ended up getting DQ'd after round one for their behavior on the tabletop. They didn't cheat. They didn't fudge dice. It wasn't anything with their actual gameplay. It was with about them being rude and just kind of disrespectful to an opponent. So we ended up the team ended up having to drop round two because I found out about what happened in the middle of our round two pairings. So this person will no longer be playing with Almost Functional. We're not going to put names out there. People who are at the event know who it is, but I'm not going to put their name or the exact details of what happened out there. But I just want people to realize that we play this game together. Like, you need to be courteous to your opponent. The idea is for both of you to enjoy the 2.5, 3 hours you spend rolling dice against each other. Like, yes, you're trying to beat each other. You want to try to outmaneuver and play each other. To win the game, you want to prove your list is good, prove your player skill. But nowhere in that does it require you to be disrespectful or cause your opponent to have a bad time, whether you're winning or losing, whether your dice are rolling bad, whether you think their army's broken and GW should have fixed it. There's just really no excuse ever for causing your opponent to not have a good time at the table. There's plenty of times where I'm getting blown out or blowing my opponent out, and we'll still have a good time. Like, obviously, it's not fun for them, like the interaction of our two armies, but the interaction between me and them or them and me can still be enjoyable. Like, because you both can understand, like, hey, you're playing a fun, fluffy army you brought, and I'm playing 4 CTANs. Like, yes, we know what's about to happen, so let's joke and, still have a good time. Like, it's not, no, there's no reason just to make the game not fun. Because sometimes the rules and army interactions can be not fun enough without you adding on top of it. Yeah, exactly. Plasma Minis. And Plasma Minis, their team, I've never had a bad game against them. We always have a great time. Well, Legend, funny you mentioned that. We'll get in. I will see what I have in my list coming up and whether or not you'll actually finally consider me a real man. Oh, yeah, that's never good. Yeah, like, honestly, like, anybody who's come in the last 2 or 3 editions is really, really lucky. We don't have a lot of bad apples left in the game. But I started playing tournaments in 3rd edition. I started playing the game in 2nd, but the top players used to be really, really toxic, sweaty. Like, they'd bully you at the table, like fudging measurements, like abusing rules, and just like over talking you, and just kind of like they would bully their way into victories. And they weren't fun to play against, but there was no like yellow cards. There was no like organized tournament circuit or any of that stuff at all. And there was no chess clocks. Slow playing was a thing. Adepticon used to really play into that. I remember one of my first times at Adepticon, I lost to this crazy horde orc list because we only got 2 turns in, because they just ran out and scored all their points turn 1 and 2. And if we'd have played the full game, I had a good chance of coming back against it, but they specifically designed their army to never get past turn 2, and people weren't able to score enough because they were able to flood the board early before you could whittle them down. And that was accepted and okay back then. Like, it was just like, oh, that is what it is. So, like, a lot of the top tier players now try to implement good game etiquette. In Florida, the old Brohammer team had a lot to do with that. The goal of them was to be good players, but to be good opponents first. And that really, really trickled out into the meta, especially as guys like John Lennon, Mark Perry, Richard Siegler all sprung out from that team and really, really became like big names. And then they joined Art of War with Nick and all them. And so they just kind of made it that way, especially as it became their job too on top of it. So they didn't want to ever have that toxic experience to push people away, because now it would hurt their wallets. So the game is really in a good spot when it comes to that stuff. There's not a lot of just 100% sweaty all the time people left. There's a few, but if you're a really good player, you're going to have to play on stream at a lot of events. And so you see those guys get called up. People talk about it online. Like, so it's really easy to solve that problem now as compared to what it used to be. Yeah, stat check builds can be a pain. Like, there's the C-Tan build, which we'll talk about that. I'm thinking that's going to get hit a little bit. It won't fully go away, but should hopefully be easier to deal with after the slate drop. There's a double or triple Lancer, double Atropos list that's running around at certain places right now. We saw that at the team tournament this weekend. That's freaking brutal. So those armies are really just like kind of mid-table bullies, because there are armies that can deal with them. So they never like really win much, but they can really, really make the average player have bad games, and that's where they're kind of stuck at. They bully the middle to low tables, but then they lose when they get up to the next level. But unfortunately, that's a place where it has to be. 1 spot behind Michael Mann. That's not bad. What were you running, Plasma Minis? But I just wanted to get that rant out of the way, because my team paid for a whole weekend. We played 1 round with a full team. I was in the middle of round 2 pairings. We'd already made the first 2 matchups. I was in the middle of figuring out what to drop and do our pairing for the second set of pairings when I found out my player was DQ'd. So we played round 2 with 4 players, giving them a free 20-0. And then the rest of us ended up dropping because there was an odd number of teams. So instead of forcing one team to have a bye and then us to make another team have 1 player sit out, we figured we'd just drop and then everybody could play. Because that was our fault for bringing somebody who got themselves DQ'd. But hopefully we won't have that problem again. Oh, your demons. Nice. Yeah, Clay's been running demons for us. He's really been liking them. Demons have always been such a cool army. So that being said, we're going to jump into my teams list. I only got 2 games with it. 1 into the triple Land Raider Custodes list, which I ended up getting an 11-9 against. But that was... they picked a bad table. He got to pick table, which was, I think, a mistake. They picked layout 8. And then I was able to pick Terraform. And next, let's pull this list up. Oh, how do I get rid of that? There's share screen. So this is what I was running. So we had Arjak, Bjorn, Logan, Captain of Terminator with Grimner's Mark, Combi Lieutenant, Intercessor, Double Scout, 3 5-man Terminators, 2 Wolf Scouts, Thunderwolf Cavalry, 6-man, and Double Pred. So since I picked Terraform against him on layout 8, I was able to run the Scout units out terraform all 3 middle objectives and kind of move block his land raiders a little bit. So he wasn't able to turn any of my terraforms off till turn 4 because I kept body blocking 1 objectives because it was layout 8. And he still almost won. Still only beat him on 11-9, which would be by just over 10 points. On just over 5 points on that. So if it hadn't been layout 8 or terraform, he probably would have beat me pretty badly because that is just a really, really tough list to deal with right now. And then my round 2, I played into Grey Knights, and that was a slight loss for me. I just couldn't quite get through their 2-up armor. So that's one of the things I'm figuring into the changes to this list. Also, I'm figuring in something for C-Tans in that 5-Knight build because we had another team event coming up in 2 weeks. So I'm hopefully going to be one of our counters to that. And I think we'll still see the C-Tan lists even after the nerf. We'll go over what I saw in the nerfs, what I predicted to be the nerfs later. But I want to show you how I'm planning on changing this list. So Bjorn, Arjak, Logan, staying in. I'm going to end up dropping the Captain and Terminator armor. I did like having the 3 Terminator squads. If the C-Tan Knight, like if the big stuff build goes away, we go back toward like the meta we kind of had before the big Eldar nerf, like more middle level stuff, I might go back to that. We're going to drop one of the scout squads. So we'll obviously drop the 1 Terminator squad that went with the guy. We're dropping both Wolf Scouts, I believe it was. Keep the Predators, keep the Thunderwolf. All right, so what we're adding in is more stuff that can kill big things. Legend, I don't think I'm going to be at the ATC in Carthage, North Carolina. A win is that one. I'm going to try to see if I can get to the one in Chattanooga because we go to that most years, and I always like that one. But I'm not sure when the Carthage one is. I've been having trouble filling my team out lately. I got like 2 or 3 like solid guys who want to go most of the time, but finding the last 1 or 2 guys, I've been having a little problem with right now. All right, so what we're going to do, we're going to add some more vehicles. This is where we're going to make the legend happy. I am going to add double Vindicator. I know a lot of people have been enjoying running this. I only owned 1 Vindicator until Sunday. I finally went and bought a second one and got it built and primed. I got to get it painted before the event, but I don't like 1 Vindicator because they're kind of swingy. But I've always said you got to run 2 to make them worth it. So now that I own a second, we are going to try this out. So we'll run double Vindicator, double Predator, and we're going to throw in the Storm Speeder Hammer Strike, or Thunder Strike. This is one that gives you +1 to wound. So now into C-Tan, Knights, anything that's T11, or actually with the Vindicators, anything that's T13 or less. So even those Plague Legion demons, you're going to be winning on 2s with the Vindicators. You shoot them with the Thunder Strike first, and 2s with the Top Gun on the Predator. And if there's 11 or left, you're going to be 11 or less. You're going to be winning them on 2s with all the guns on the Predator as well. So I just think that's really, really cool. Really, really nice. And that leaves us 60 points. All right, so what did we do with those 60 points? I'm trying to remember what we did here. Oh, we might have done that. Did we turn this into an infiltrator squad? All right, infantry. Infiltrator squad, and then a squad of Federation Wolves. And that should put us at 2,000. I'm just going to double check the app on my phone. That's exactly the way I filled out those last points. Let's see. Yep, that's exactly how the list looks. So I'm really excited about this list. It's still got 3 good combat bricks. You still got Arjak and Logan with a 10-man and a 6-man Thunderwolf. You got Bjorn to help guard your backfield, give the dogs OC on your 1 flank. gives you CP. Combi Lieutenant. All right, that's probably going to have to change based on if the leaks I've seen are accurate. Predator is 11 wounds, 3 up saves. So it's got the same wounds as the Vindicator, but one less save, one less toughness. But so I'm just going to give a leak. So the Combi Lieutenant is supposedly going up 15 points. So that would put him at 70 or at 85. At that point, I don't think I take him. So with the dogs, that's 70, 110 points. So at that point, we can possibly drop the Combi Lieutenant and the Fenrisians and put a squad of Wolf Scouts in, because I do like the Wolf Scouts. If that change doesn't happen, if he doesn't go up 15, then I'll run him in the Thunderwolves. But I believe he is going up, so we're going to throw in, where's the infantry? Squad of Wolf Scouts. Boom. And obviously I'm going to take the plasma gun and the equipment for the Rune Priest, but we're not going to worry about filling that in here. So that actually leaves us at 1995. And I believe that's the only real hit to any Marine stuff is going to be the 15-point change on the Combi Lieutenant that's coming. So this is the chain. This is the list if that happens. So Arjak, Logan, running with 5-mans, Bjorn. We got 4 big shooting platforms, 1 okay shooting platform, but he gives +1 to wound to everybody else. And then we still have the strat for +1 to wound in Great Wolf, so you can really double down on this. So say this kills the first knight with these things here, you can still pop it on the other predator and try to start wounding another Sea-Tanner knight just to start getting it down. Oh, 10 Wolfen with Murder Fang? Yeah, that seems like that could be fun, especially depending on your local meta and what the layout is. Yeah, I would try not to let anything be siege one. None of the Marine good shooting platforms really have invul saves. Only real tank that has an invul save that I know of is the Impulsor. The transport can get a 5-up. But with Armor of Contempt and the ability to make sure you have cover, even with a 3-up save, if they're AP4, you can still get a 5-up save. So there are ways to make some of them more survivable. And then the Vindicators being with a 2-up save are really nice. But I'm just thinking this can put out a lot of damage. Yeah, Legend. I've heard a few things. I'm going to get into that in a minute. But actually, let's just go ahead and we'll jump into that. Let's move this. Pull up this. So there's a few things. So Sisters, Zephyrum are going down 5 and 10 points, depending on the squad. Repentia down 5. Wave Serpents down 10. Banshees +1 attack. Avatar down 25. The Grizzled Company, their +1 armor thing is only going to be for 1 of attack, kind of like Armor of Contempt is right now. Necrons, all the Cetans are going from a 5-up Feel No Pain to a 6-up Feel No Pain, which is a big change. So basically, they'll stop half as many. Nightbringer up 15, Transcendent and Void Dragon up 10, and the Deceiver up 25. And then the Techno Wraith, the Feel No Pain, goes to a 6+. So not one, none of them are a huge thing on the own, but all of them are stacking. So if you're running the Nightbringer Deceiver build, which a lot of people were, you're losing 40 points, and all your Feel No Pains get worse. So we'll see if that's enough to tone this down. I still think people just running hordes of warriors is still a really, really tough thing to deal with. Marines, Rep-X to 240. The Wardens, the +10 points. That's the new Ultramarine squad. Redemptor +5, so he's going back to 200. Graviscar can no longer join Victrix, so I'm guessing that's Marnius. And the Combi Lieutenant +15. Only one of those that affects me is the Combi Lieutenant. I didn't really run much of the others. I gave Redemptors a try, but even at 195, I thought they were a little too pointy. Maybe in Ultramarines, they were really, really worth it. The Drukhari out of phase charge now happens immediately after a move instead of the end of the phase. That is a huge change. That is honestly really, really good. That helps a lot. Um, Hellions no longer get +1 strength from Pain Token. Incubi is down 5. Cabalites down 10. EC Demon Printers are going up 10 points. Cool. What else? A Thousand Suns, Twist of Fate, now 10 and 13 instead of 9 and 12, so getting some strength. Or is that their cost to cast it? I'm not sure exactly what that means. Tau Stealth Suits are now 70 points for 3 as an option. So you can take the little 3-man squad to Stealth Suits again, which was something Tau were really, really complaining about, so hopefully that makes a difference for them. The Spoilers are going +10 for points. And supposedly there will be no more changes before the end of the edition. This is supposed to be the last thing they touch. So whatever we have after this will be what we have until 11th hits. So that's just going to be what we have to deal with. Oh yeah, that freaking Drukhari thing is so annoying. They just charge a little freaking 40-point witch squad or whatever at you and just tie you up so you can't charge into their good stuff. Like it made it impossible to set up good charges. Yeah, agents getting ignored. Wolves did get any buffs, but we also didn't get any nerfs other than like the regular Marine nerfs. So they didn't change a lot. Like Custodes didn't get touched at all, which is kind of funny. I was hoping they'd do something to kind of nip that triple Land Raider. Was it like 30 Custodian Guard list in the butt? Yeah, the agents. I don't think they intended that to really be a full army. It's stuff you could take to ally. I don't think they ever wanted it to be a full competitive list for competitive play. Something you can run and fluff as a full army, but otherwise it just gives you some allied units for like knights or something like that that didn't have a lot of little units. Oh yeah, the Banshee extra attack is weird. Because they were really, really good at killing what they were good at, and then they weren't very good at killing like Thunderwolves. And I don't know that 5 guys getting 1 extra attack each is going to be that big. Maybe in a 10-man, if getting 10 extra attacks will help. But hey, what up, Kurt? So yeah, those are some interesting buffs and nerfs. The Necron one, hopefully that's enough. I'm only getting a 6-up Feel No Pain will help. And the point increases hopefully enough. I was hoping they'd limit how many C-Tans you could bring in a list, which they didn't. Yeah, 2x5 Eldari or 2x5 Banshees. You have 5 extra attacks. That's cool. If you're fighting into a big, like a 10-man Marine squad, maybe you actually pick the whole thing up now instead of leaving a couple alive. But into the stuff you were having trouble killing to begin with, I don't know that 5 extra attacks when you're winning on 5s or 6s is really gonna change much. Avatar getting cheaper is interesting. I thought he was pretty cheap already, but I guess they need to do something for Eldari because they've been kind of lackluster lately. I guess there weren't nearly as many events this weekend as there were last time. Let's see, Legend. I'm seeing double Transcendent less and less because Silent King is seeing more play. Yeah, those are the lists where I guess like the 2 C-Tan with Silent King and Necro guy, the new character, I think were better lists than just 4 C-Tans. Yeah, Scarbrand, just like Thunderwolves, I think the Banshees still bounce off Thunderwolves. Anything non-infantry that they hit, they just struggle with. All right, so we had one wolf list go 5-1 this weekend. Don't see any other big results being shown on List Hammer. Yeah, 6 lists on wolf guard head takers from 8 up to 10. Yeah, head takers aren't great at killing big stuff. They're good at killing little stuff and like medium stuff, which is one of the reasons I went away from them right now, because big stuff is kind of the name of the game, which is why I'm tacking a little more into the heavy shooting. I tried the E-Rads. They're just a little harder to deliver because you got to get them in melter range. So just the Vindy and stuff, we'll see how that plays out. Haven't got to test it yet. I'll get a test game Wednesday, but in my mind, it seems like it should be pretty solid. But we had Morrow Teats running Stormlance go 5-1 at a European event with 137 players. So let's go ahead and look at his list. Bjorn, no Arjack, Combi Lieutenant, Logan, one Wolf Priest, Intercessor Squad, two 6-mans and one 3-mana Thunderwolves, 6 paired head takers, then a squad of 3 head takers, paired head takers with Hunting Wolves, 5 Termies for Logan, 5 Wolfen, 10 Wolfen with Shield, 5 Wolfen with Shield, 5 Wolfen with Shield. So this is a typical Stormlance list. Run a lot of T6 bodies, and then hard to kill Terminators out, and just kind of bully primary. If they can't kill you fast enough, they don't score enough primary to win. Yeah, 5 C-Tan really can't play the mission well. It's just a real, I mean, you can't kill them all, but you just kill everything else, and then now C-Tans have to hold objectives and do secondaries, or they just don't score points. So I think that's fine. I think the 5 C-Tan's bad. But yeah, 2 C-Tan, Silent King, Necrosaur is really strong. Yeah, I think most of the list, you're right, Plaza, that I saw this weekend were the 2 C-Tan build. I wish I didn't have to purchase any Imperial Agent stuff to make my list in the Warhammer app. Oh, you mean the Imperial Agent book to make stuff in the Warhammer app? Or do they make you purchase the book to add the allies in? I don't know. I bought the book just because I wanted to have access to what people were running when they brought assassins and stuff. So I never saw that. But only one wolf list with a good record this weekend. So we'll see what comes up. This next weekend, I'll be out of town this next weekend. So there'll be no game Friday night. And I won't be at any tournaments this weekend. And then the week after, there'll be no game Friday night because we're traveling out to the team tournament. But then we'll have a lot of feedback for the event, from the event. But I got a practice game tomorrow night and then next Wednesday. And hopefully I'll try to get another game in next week or this Thursday before, just so I can get a couple test games in with the new list. It only plays slightly different than some of my older lists, so it's not that big a deal if I don't get like a lot of reps in with it. But I do want to see what it does. Yeah, Codex for the Calidus and the Vindicare. But also, a lot of people at that time are running like, you see Inquisitor Draxus and stuff like that a lot. So it's worth to have the book just to have people's rules. But yeah, that's my thoughts on my new list and the Dataslate stuff. Anything else you guys want to get into? Any other thoughts or about that, or like predictions on 11th edition? Legend, when is Russ coming? Any of that stuff. Yeah, I like Vindicators, but yeah, they always have to run at least 2. I only owned 1, and every time I tried to run 1, it was just disappointing. Same like if you have a Doomsday Ark and Necron, something like that. Like, you can't run just 1. they're too swingy to run one. You run two, now your dice start balancing out, and you get out of them what you're expecting to get out of them. One maybe doesn't do as much, and the other one does better. Like so. That's a good question. I would like to see. I don't know that they're going to do this. I don't have any rumors or that for anybody that they're going to do this. I'd like to see them do with Marines like they did with Chaos, like Blood Angels, Space Wolves, Dark Angels, Templars, like the main like 4 or 5 that have like their own unique supplements now. Just give them their own codex. Like World Eaters have a World Eaters Rhino. I have a World Eaters Forge Fiend, and they can. The rules are slightly different than the one for Death Guard, and so they can skew the points or how it balances in that army. The one shoots more shots but hits more, like so they can balance it to fit. And so instead of trying to balance the whole Marine book points around Ultramarines and then still us have to try to use it, just give us a Space Wolves Rhino, a Space Wolves Repulsor, Space Wolves Repex, which we can have the option for a Hellfrost gun instead of the laser destroyer. Like you can do cool stuff like that if you just went that route, which would be really, really cool. And then they could do stuff like that, give us long fangs that have some sort of Hellfrost cannon, kind of like similar to the 3-man units in like Leagues of Votan or like Eradicators, but with like a Space Wolf Hellfrost option as long fangs. 3-man Gravis squad, 3 or 6-man. So I think they could, like, they have the opportunity to do that. Whether or not they will, I don't know, but I would love to see that. And yeah, I think that would make balancing the game easier as well. Because, oh no, these Redemptors or Vindicators are real too strong with +1 to wound oath. Well, Space Wolves don't have that, so we don't need to up the points on their Vindicator, just the one in the Ultramarine book. Or, the vanilla book, because I'm assuming that'll probably stay Ultramarines. So, I mean, like, let's probably keep that one the same. But the people who already have their own supplement, just make them their own, just full codex. Yeah, and you can start doing more stuff with the flavor. Oh, don't put Devastator squads in our book. But give us our Longfang squad. We don't think Space Wolf should have. I don't know, some just like certain chaos units. Space Wolf shouldn't have. What is it? I'm trying to think of something that wouldn't be Space Wolfy. Some sort of shooting unit. Oh, Space Wolves wouldn't have Hell Blasters or something, but they can have. But do we give them long fangs to make up? Like, I don't know. They should be able to do something like that. Yeah, because then like the Combi Lieutenant going up for regular Marines, maybe that wouldn't affect us, or maybe we wouldn't even have a Combi Lieutenant. Like, yeah, there's no lieutenants, no captains. Just give us battle leaders and wolf lords that balance with our units, pointed for our units, so that we can have a wolf lord and Terminator armor that can join Space Wolf Terminators. We can have, a battle leader that can join in with Ragnar and Grey Hunters, or Ragnar and Bloodclaws, or Head Takers, or something like that. Yeah, Space Wolves don't have any good shooting units on their own because we lost Long Fangs. Wolf Scouts shoot okay for a little skirmishing scout unit, but like that doesn't scare big stuff. But Saga the Great Wolf does make regular Marine shooting platforms really, really good. If you give them the +1 to hit, +1 to wound. Especially like I'm running Thunder Strike, so I can double up on the +1 to wound. We'll see how that goes. Just the concept seems to work. We'll see if on the table it actually plays out that well. Yeah, or just get all Gravis units could become Long Fangs. That could be a thing. Just something along those lines. Or even like they do something weird, like they're probably not. This would be more like a Death Watch thing, but like Long Fang squads has like a mix of weapons, so they can have a Hellfrost, and you can have the Melta rifle and the Flamer from the aggressor. Like you could just mix, but that'd be more like a Death Watch thing, I guess. But they can do lots of cool things. Yeah, we'd probably lose intercessors and like heavy intercessor stuff like that. But if they gave us the option to take Grey Hunters and Blood Claws and 5-mans, that would be okay. Yeah. And then I'm thinking in 11th edition, regular Marines are going to lose their Devastator squads. We'll see what happens with Rhinos if they give them the ability to carry Tacticus type armor, or if Rhinos are just going to disappear and they're going to give us something along the Impulsor line, but big enough to carry 10 models. I mean, we wouldn't have to have sticky objective. That may just be something that the flavor Space Wolves don't have. Like, there's gonna be certain things that Marines have that we won't, and we'll get things that Marines won't. The Dark Angels have something different than both of us, so we could lose sticky objective from a unit and maybe gain it from an enhancement or a strat in a certain attachment, or maybe just not have it at all. And then you got to play around that, and then see if we still would have access to all the Phobos stuff, or if they would give us our Wolf Scouts and maybe some another type of Phobos. Like, I don't know, they can do all sorts of weird stuff. Yeah, you could leave Fenrisian wolves back there, uh, having like something like Jay's chained up to somebody, or give us like give us like they gave World Eaters. Oh, you kill a unit on the objective, and we can spend the CP to sticky it then. Kind of like World Eaters. Like Space Wolves are like not exactly World Eaters. We're a little more tactical, a little more shooty than World Eaters, but we're kind of I guess World Eaters are kind of like a mix of Blood Angels and Space Wolves, but we have some of those like really aggressive combat traits. But there's so many ways they could go. But yeah, generic characters back. Give us at least some sort of Space Wolf, Thunderwolf character. A Wolfen character would be amazing. See what they give us with Russ. Um, so hopefully, because from my understanding, we should be getting Russ right around the very end or sometimes toward the beginning of 11th edition. So we'll see what exactly happens with that. But there's so many ways they could get more flavorful if they just gave everybody their own unique codex. Um, Anything from a previous edition that I want to come back? Um, as far as like rules for the whole game, or like stuff that Space Wolf had? Because I would love to have Wolfen go back to having a feel no pain and an invul save and a fight on death and advance in charge and being strength 10, and like just like Wolfen were just amazing. I just really wish Wolfen could be more like they were in, I believe it was the 8th edition index and going into the middle of 8th edition when they were like that. Yeah, Harold Deathwolf, Canis Wolfborn. Yeah, some of the named characters back maybe for Thunderwolves. But we haven't, other than like just recently, we lost the Hounds of Mordecai and Longfangs, and then our Flyers, which weren't a big thing anybody really ran anyway. There's not a lot we have lost from older editions I can think of off the top of my head. Yeah, true. Yeah, we have don't have any access to +1 AP unless we want to go like Gladius or something. Which that's the problem Space Wolves have is Strength 5 AP2 threshold. Like if you can't kill it with Strength 5 AP2, we are really going to struggle. Yeah, I don't think they did a good job with the sagas in the Codex, and they kind of just went away with it. Saga the Great Wolf has no sagas in it. So there's the name saga, but you don't have to do any sagas. You just choose the hunting packs or whatever. So yeah, so that definitely needs to be reassessed and redone. So we'll see how that goes because we just got new models and new books, so we'll probably be later in the edition again before we get a full book. So hopefully with the 11th edition drop, we'll get some. They're going to tweak all the data slates and stuff to be fully compatible. So hopefully they fix a few things there when they do that anyway. That would be really, really cool. Yeah, the lack of Thunderwolf characters is just completely stupid. Like what, they just all died overnight. Like, I understand getting rid of Logan on the sled and just combining his two models into one model, which is an amazing model. I'm fine with that. Logan doesn't need to be out running with the Thunderwolves. But yeah, Harold should be. Yeah, what else? Yeah, and giving us the ability to split Blood Claws and Grey Hunters into 5 bands would be amazing. Yeah, because we got Wolf Scouts back, and I think they're a solid unit. So like, there's not a lot we're still missing. Yeah, Thunderwolf Cav are good right now. I'm a little disappointed in Wolfen still. I know some people really, really like them. But unless you're going like full Stormlands and trying to just throw T6 bodies, you're trying to play a more tactical game. Just having no OC and only like 2 attacks, like they just don't do it for me. But I also remember when they would kill anything in the game, like 4 or 5 attacks each. Um, Fighting when they charge, and then fighting again when you kill them. They could double fight. Having a 5-up feel no pain plus their invul save. They were just really, really hard to kill and just mulched almost anything they touched. Oh yeah, yes. Wolfen needs sustained hit ship. That's why in Champions of Fenders they're all right. You can maybe make them work in Great Wolf. In what is it? Not Hunter, Beast Slayer. If you give them a character with sustained hits can help. Yeah, Thunderhammers were like strength 10, strength 40, something crazy. Like they were awesome. Taking them with Murder Fang help. Yeah, the 4-up fight on death helps. They used to just auto fight on death all the time, which was nice. But yeah, 4-up fight on death definitely helps. That's why I love Arjack with the Termies, because all right, you don't know that they're not fighting you, so a lot of times they'll just trade instead of just dying. It's one reason I sometimes miss Gladius for the full fight on death, but I am enjoying Great Wolf with the lethal sustained, real advance and charge is okay, and then the +1 to hit, stacking with the +1 to wound, just lets you bring an actually kind of brutal shooting list with a couple good Space Wolf combat units to fight the midboard. Hyper aggressive Wolfen. Wolfen should be hyper aggressive to begin with. We shouldn't have to give them that. But I'd like to see Russ give some sort of aura that like buffs Wolfen, make them feel more like 8-bound almost. Yeah, the +1 to wound strat works on anything. I liked it with the Rads just because the more shots something has, the more the +1, the strat actually multiplies how effective it is. That's why I'm liking the Thunder Strike, because 135 points, it gives you a couple more last cannon type shots. Plus, now everything gets +1 to hit or +1 to wound. Everything gets +1 to wound against some of this big stuff that's out there in the meta right now. Trying to pick up 28 wound Knight Lancers, or what is it, the C-Tan, even Land Raiders in the stupid Custode list. So just stuff like that. There's a lot of big stuff out there right now. It's going to be Blood Angels in the 11th edition box with orcs, but all the units in the box are going to just need generic Marines. They can go into anything. The only thing going to be really Blood Angels is just going to be the artwork and maybe like a bonus sprue or shoulder pads or something for the models. But the actual models are going to be just generic Marine units. But the artwork will be Blood Angels, is from everything I'm hearing. So, depending on if you want the units or not, like the box will probably still be worth getting, because all the units will be compatible with the wolves. They won't just be, none of them will be Blood Angel specific. Yeah, that the Wolf Hunter Strength 5 is just, it's stupid. Like, Logan only being Strength 8 AP2 is stupid. He's got like this giant cornate axe. Why is that AP2? It shouldn't be. It should be AP3 Dev Wounds. Even if you want to leave it at Strength 8, it should be AP3 Dev Wounds. And the fact that Logan, with his 2 dogs, is still only OC1 on that giant base. Every time I tell people that when we're playing the game, they're like, "How much OC you got there?" I'm like, "Everybody there is 1." They're like, "What about the big guy?" I'm like, "He's 1 too." They're like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, he's. Don't ask me." With the 2 dogs, he should at least count as mounted and be 2. Yeah, damage 4, that'd be cool. But I'd fine with them staying damage 3 if they went up to AP3, and Logan at least should have dev wounds, but probably Arjak too. Because Arjak with dev wound, I guess I know they didn't do it because they made him anti-monster, anti-vehicle 3 up, and then he would just fucking wreck vehicles and monsters too hard, so they'd have to jack his point up. So I guess maybe leave him without dev wounds if he's keeping the anti-monster, anti-vehicle 3 up, or make it a 4 up and give him the dev wounds. That'd still be super strong. But yeah, so maybe Arjak stays how he is. Maybe give him AP3 though, and give Logan AP3 and dev wounds. Yeah, Niall needs, like, a lot of our characters need some buffs. Like, they're good. Like, Arjak's the only one that really, really slaps. Unless you count like Murder Fang. Like, even Bjorn. Why Bjorn is lethal instead of twin linked is dumb to me. Because you're strength 12. You don't need lethal, you need twin linked. Or even if, honestly, if they made Grey Hunter's ability able to be taken in 5-mans, I might even consider y'all then. Y'all in a 5-man and Impulsor or something. Jump out with OC3. They have the ability to advance and shoot and stuff. Can make people's ranges shorter. Like, if he didn't have to go in one of those 10-mans, and I'm not going to waste him in head takers. There's other people putting head takers. But I'd even consider y'all if the Grey Hunters were just 5-mans. Yeah. Murder Fang should be AP3 as well. Like, they just point and clicked and copied AP2 into every combat unit we have. And most of its damage too. They're like, every once in a while, like, "Oh, we'll give this 1 damage 3." And then it's like strength 5 or strength 8 unless you hit unless it's a dreadnought. On their well, they are AP1 in combat, but yeah, on their shooting, maybe. But there's times I don't like to have to push that whole 10-man out, especially against certain armies where it's a trading game. I'd even be fine with them going back up to 180, but being able to split into 5-mans. Like, that would be perfect. Yeah, 5-man Grey Hunter squads. Now we can play against the stupid Recon Guard. The night, all these people that just want to OC spam you. I can OC spam you back with freaking Thunderwolf or with Grey Hunters, and that would be actually kind of cool. What up, Dan? Space Wolf Dan in the chat, yo. So what else? Anything else you guys want to touch on? Because hopefully in March around Adepticon we'll start getting some leaks and reveals and stuff about 11th edition. I'm gonna have to make another trip up to Jacksonville, Dan, but I'm gonna have to make sure you're there this time. Bastion's okay. Unfortunately, we have to take 10-man battle line units, so I think it's more effective as like Ultramarines or something, so you can give them +1 to wound oath, and that actually makes those units able to actually kill stuff. I'm not sure Bastion is like really, really great for wolves, but I haven't actually put it on the table, so it's all just theory in my head thinking about it. So I have no actual tabletop proof to back that up. That's just my thought on it. But yeah, so yeah, some of you guys, this will be your first new edition. To me, it's kind of old hat at this point, but we'll have some talks about how to adjust to a new edition. I did some videos on that when we came into 10th, but I'll do some stuff on that going into 11th as well. But basically, you just have to reset your mindset and not try to just take your old list and just tweak it. Just really sit down, look at the rules, to start playtesting from ground up again. Space Wolf Company champions. What do you mean? What do you mean, Cameron? How would I build my Space Wolf Company champions? Oh, like the company heroes or whatever. Yeah, I guess that would. Yeah, we need a long fang. Do they have a lieutenant in the guys now? Okay, you could go one ancient, one head taker, one long fang. Um, I don't know. That just doesn't seem like a Space Wolfy unit to me. I don't think we'd even do something like that. Like our guys like to stick with their pack. Dude, I have so many last cannon and missile launcher long fangs sitting on my shelf at home. Yeah, but I don't think the heroes would like team up on their own. I'd like to see Lone Wolf's back. A Lone Wolf squad or a Lone Wolf character would be really, really cool. Because those were fun back in the day. Or even a strat for Lone Wolf, like it used to be. You're the last guy in your unit. You spin the strat. They become a character. They gain wounds and attacks. Like that was always cool. Well, yeah, then they'd just be Wolfguard. He wouldn't be taking a long fang or something like that. I don't know. Ragnar's not really the super stealthy type. He's more like a Bloodclaw. He's running straight at you, screaming. Oh, they might have. We had a couple different versions of Lone Wolves. At one point, they were a unit you took, and then at another point, they were when the last model from a unit. You could use a strat on them, which is why people were taking Terminator um, Wolfguard leaders and a lot of like Grey Hunters, Long Fangs, basically any unit you could. So when if the Terminator was left alone, you basically doubled his wounds and stuff. But yeah, he might have got rerolls too. It's hard. I don't remember exactly. But yeah, there's so many things they could do that I hope they do. It's time that Wolf, because we used to have our own codex. Everybody should have their own codex, and then they kind of rolled them together a couple editions ago. And we just kind of been stuck there. Oh yeah, yeah. When you could pick the sub chapters, there was some really cool stuff you could do there. There's the double exploding sixes. I didn't normally go that route. I normally went six exploding sixes, and I can't remember what the other one was. There was another really widely good one. I don't know if it was like extra attacks or advance and charge or Honestly, I don't remember exactly what it was. I have to go back and see if I can find one of those old codexes. That'd be cool to look back at some of that stuff. Yeah, most of my stuff is GW. I'll get some custom heads and stuff here or there, but yeah, I tend to stick to the actual GW models for my Space Wolves. I don't know if we'd get a mix. I thought about something like that, but like that's more of like the Death Watch thing. So I don't know if they'd spin that over into Wolves mixing unit types. Yeah. Yeah, Dan, you got to get some Vindicators on the table here soon. So Legend, can have faith in you. Gotta go double Vindy. But I'm gonna try that out over the next couple weeks and probably take that to the team event and see how it plays. But I'm liking the concept of it, and the Dataslate doesn't look like it's going to hit us at all. So I should be fine with that, or at least with the build there outside the Combi Lieutenant that I had to drop. No, I'm going to make up the rules as I want. Each of the Vindicators is going to shoot twice. My Predator is going to get double las cannon shots from the top, just however I want. Well, that's why I don't like one Vindicator, Dan. Like I only owned one, which is why I wouldn't run it. I just finally bought a second one. So stuff like that, I was saying that earlier. Stuff like that, I don't like running singles of. You got to run at least double to hopefully over the game balance out. No one believes you anything you say, Legend, until Rush shows up. But all right. Well, we're coming up on the hour mark, so unless there's any really important last questions, we're gonna get ready to wrap up here. Yeah, I went away from Gladiators. Just the 2 shots is tough. Yeah, that's why I like. Yeah, Great Wolf. Hopefully, you pop the hitting on 2s. So, I mean, you can reroll a 1 into a 1, but hopefully not very often. Yeah, so as I say, that's why I don't like Lancers. I have a friend of mine who's working on a Talus. He was going to take railguns. I'm like, you could fail to hit or wound you with 1 shot, and then if they hit a 4-up, even if you do, nothing happens. Like, yeah, against those, you need as many high damage shots as you can, just so you can force them to fail some saves. Iron Priest, not if you run a Lancer, I'd say find the points for an Iron Priest. That's not a bad idea, but that gives you 3 shots, and now you're out 160 plus 55. Was it like 215 points? So at that point, I'd rather just find a few more points and run double Predator for 6 shots. But all right, well, thank you guys for watching. We'll be back next week. Like I said, no battle report this week or next week because I'll be out of town this week for family stuff, and then next week we'll be going to the team training camp event out in Orlando. They're actually hosting it at like a summer camp or like a Boy Scout camp or something. So the whole team will be in like a whole lodge. All our meals and stuff are gonna be like at the mess hall and stuff. So be kind of like a little summer camp experience, which could be kind of cool. So we'll see how that goes. Yep, Dan. Yeah, hopefully we actually get to see each other in person here soon. But thank you guys for watching, and we will catch you next time.
Thank you for watching Almost Functional Gaming. We appreciate the support of all followers of Russ and the Allfather. Please like, share, and subscribe. Also, check out our merch store and almost functional score tracker on Amazon. Everything helps support the growth of this channel, and we appreciate it.